Hello everybody, welcome back. I have a think about Ethereum this morning, because we looked at a lot of altcoins last night on the stream. Long story short, only a few of them look quite good, most of them didn't. They're waiting for a signal from the market. They're not setups on their own. Most altcoins don't have any setups of their own. They're bearish on the daily, bearish on the 4 hourly, some bearish on the daily, some bearish on the weekly, and there's only a handful really that we saw out of all of the things last night which were sort of bullish on either weekly or daily, but still even most of the 4 hours were bearish, even for the bullish charts, which means that they're waiting for the green light from the market. Is the market going to allow for it to go up or not? That's what we're waiting for. We're a few days away from September, which should be, my expectation is that it's the last month before a decent consolidation, but I could be wrong. That perspective was generated about 2 years ago, and although it's helped us guide through this market so far, we still have to take it step by step. So let's do that now then, shall we? For Ethereum, let's do the first step. The weekly has bearish divergence on the money flow index only. It's only a smidgen, but it does exist, and that's a lower high there on the weekly. Bearish divergence, a high there and a lower high here. So it's not uncommon to see just a single drive like that register as bearish divergence and cause the pullback basically. We got that over here, but there was a big gap between it. But other than that, there's nothing going on with the RSI really to be concerned about. The daily's not bad actually. So the day's quite good. We ran up to the previous high, came back down to the center of a Bollinger Band, ran up to a new all-time high, formed a higher low again, 21 exponential or Bollinger Band center. Retested that today. So with this kind of structure, you generally would expect a new all-time high. That's generally how I would interpret this chart. Honestly, that is the case. And if we go to the 4 hourly, it's neither here nor there. It's more bullish than almost 99% of all the altcoins I've seen, really. Going across, up, down, up. Now, what we're battling with is a Bollinger Band center, which was we were above it yesterday, came down below it. We're above it again today, ever so slightly. We've still got an hour and a quarter to close. The 4 hourlies are just like this. They're up and they're down and they're side to side and they're choppy and people are getting stopped out. Loads of people going long, loads of people going short, and it's basically turned into a ranging market really. So it's I favour the high term time frames. They still point up, but the 4 hourlies and if you're looking to do day trading or whatever you want to call it, it's very difficult, very difficult. So we'll have to just monitor the situation. There has been plenty of attempted longs from my end this week, none of which have survived. They've all been stopped out because it's such a choppy market. And look, that's even just going off coins that have good setups of their own. They're trending up, they're having a great time, and then Bitcoin and Ethereum decide to come down, and then even though those setups are amazing, they come down too. So looking at Bitcoin, we've got a death cross retest, rejected all the way down, and then broke down from there. Moving up, we're at the 50 exponential right now. That's all part of the death cross retest as well. Do we get rejected from here? It would be absolutely acceptable if we were to be rejected, but we don't have bearish divergence on this move up. So there is a chance that we do extend this now to 1,500, maybe 1,006, maybe 1,007. but until we see it, we should just respect the fact that we're sitting at a resistance there. Now we've also got plenty of resistance on the daily, 1,300. 1,014, 500, 1,015, 800, blah 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 blah, all the way up. But I'd say that it's getting ready to generally move itself back up. And we came very close to a center of a Bollinger Band as well, the $108,000, where you'd expect to see a bounce. And at the moment, the wick looks encouraging. I'm relatively happy with the way that it looks. Although it's not one of those setups where we go, this is going to a new all-time high tomorrow, because it's not. Declining volume, declining momentum on the way down. It's just a consolidation. Does it break down and go further? Because if it does, increments on the way down, 101, and then probably 95 would probably be the last line in the sand before we decide that the top is actually in. Because as much as there'll be many people saying that the top is in, you don't really know the top is in until you've broken structure. And at the moment we haven't broken structure. The trend signal is still in play for the Ichimoku cloud. Chiku span floating above the price action, conversion baseline cross above the cloud, price action obviously above the cloud. leading portion is green. We've got everything that you'd want to see for a continuous trend on Bitcoin. But the top could be in, but to say that it's in at this point, I think is a bit crazy. It's like when people say the cycle's over. We're down here. Cycle's over, man. You're wrong. Don't you see that? You can't say the cycle's over until the cycle's over, and even when the cycle's over, you still need a few months to reflect on it to see if it actually is over. There is evidence, I'd say, for an extended cycle. There's an extended cycle. It's an extended cycle. How do you know? Well, this is an extended cycle. How do you know? It's a shortened cycle. Is it? I thought it was... No, it's a shortened cycle. Cycle's over. Anyone with any sense would know that you can't say either of those things at the time. You can only say them in hindsight. Really, you can. So there's no point in me saying that the cycle's over now, or it's going to be over in September, or it's going to be over in December, or it's going to be extended. There's no point in me saying that. It's only something we can reflect upon afterwards. Right, so that's that. That's Ethereum. That's Bitcoin. Let's have a quick look at the old Total 2. Where is she? There she is. Very much like an Ethereum chart, bearish divergence written across the board on it. We've got the daily, which is currently still pushing up above most moving averages. If we can just bring some moving averages up at the moment. We're above pretty much the majority, and hopefully hold above the majority, and then break to a new all-time high on that daily. So the daily list seems reasonable, and again, not much different to Ethereum over here. Golden cross retest, hit the previous high, consolidated below moving averages, back above them again. Looking to trend back up, 1.65 trillion. In continuation. Last night we did look at the others as well. The total, well, it's not the total 3. It's the it's all the others, right? And this one looks a little better. It's slightly more bullish than the total 2. So above all moving averages, looking good. But again, no leading portion of the cloud is green, no itchy cloud signals or anything like that. But it's still a good setup, and we're trying to reclaim all moving averages after the golden cross. Bang up, continuation. That's generally what you'd expect after a retest of the 200 exponential, and we've also got the same thing on the weekly. So altcoins still look good, believe it or not, whether the cycle is in, out, up, down, side to side, inside out, wherever it is, up your butt, I don't know, whatever the cycle is doing for you, the trend still seems quite reasonable for total 2, others, even Ethereum to an extent, to be honest with you, and Bitcoin. The trend is still up, surprisingly. So I'm not here to burst your bubble. I'm not here to ruin your day. I can only tell you what it looks like to me, which is continuation. I know. So that's probably what we should expect. But based on the 4 hours, because they're so choppy, it's going to be very difficult to find entry points that are able to live properly, especially if you're trying to employ decent risk management. If you're trying to take longs and hope for to carry them on for the parabolic run, if we get it at all, those entry points are very difficult, because a lot of altcoins are not able to get supported on their supports, because they are just basically being moved with Bitcoin and Ethereum as the market just goes up and down. So most altcoins are very, very hard to find entry points. Respectively for leveraged futures positions. Right, so that is it. I shall leave it with you there. Hopefully you have a nice day. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.